If you are completely unaware of who this is in this picture right here, this is Christopher Darden. Now, the last time I talked about Christopher Darden was a few months ago, and I'm not going to go really into that, at least right now, but it's going to lead up to my point. This man right here lacks all types of integrity. It's not even funny. I feel that if you lack integrity as a man, I can't look or address you as a man. That's one of the many traits that men should have, is integrity, character, and a bunch of other things. And this guy definitely lacks integrity. So the reason why I'm talking about Christopher Darden today is because he has been put back out there into the spotlight again because of who he is now representing for an upcoming trial. Christopher Darden is now going to be the attorney for Ed Buck. Yes, that Ed Buck. The Ed Buck who is nothing more than a perverted, monstrous murderer. Now, let's go back and do a little bit of history check on Christopher Darden. We first heard about Christopher Darden back in the 90s when he was going against O.J. Simpson in that particular trial back in 95. Him and Marsha Clark. He lost that case. Then we heard from him again this year when he decided to want to be the attorney for the man that killed Nipsey Hussle. But that fell through and he's no longer the attorney. Now, fast forward to this, where he is now going to be the attorney for Ed Buck. Is anybody seeing a pattern here? One of them could be attention whoring, because that's definitely what he's doing it for. And two, all the men that he's gone against were black. O.J. Simpson, even though he says he's not black, he's O.J., but we just going to bypass that a little bit for right now. Nipsey Hussle, and the two men that Ed Buck killed in his home. Let's take away the fact that, yes, those two men were a part of the Alphabet Academy. At the end of the day, they were still black men. And Ed Buck, let's not forget, almost killed a third man. That's how he got caught, because that man was able to get away. I have a feeling that if Christopher Darden was in a prominent space, even earlier than the OJ trial, he probably would have defended Jeffrey Dahmer. Because think about it, that's the kind of thing Jeffrey Dahmer was into. Like, when we think of Ed Buck and what he did, we keep thinking of Jeffrey Dahmer. This man lacks all types of integrity. But I've never really seen Christopher Darden as I guess you can say, a complete black man in the sense of mentality wise. He kind of reminds me of a low tier Clarence Thomas. Like, he just strikes me as the type of person that just hates himself. Like, that's just the vibe that I get from him. Like, how are you going to, as a black man, defend this man who has been known to lure other black men, despite whatever their sexual orientation may be, to his home, and they end up dead and nothing happens to him? Not once, but twice, as far as we know, and almost a third time. Actually, almost the fourth time, because remember, I told y'all about a reporter that was trying to do an interview, and he spotted Ed Buck walking with this unidentified black man, and he was telling him, he's doing so and so and so, pretty much ruined Ed Buck's little scheme, and the black guy got away. And I say, thank God that reporter or that journalist was there. I will never forget that. I don't know how many people, if y'all saw it or not, but it should be online somewhere. But how could you, as a black man, quote unquote, defend something like that, knowing his history? I would never, no matter how much money they threw at me, would ever take up that case. If I was a lawyer, I would have to decline. They would have to find somebody else, another sucker, to have to take his case. Because this fool deserves to be punished for for his crimes. That's what they are. They are crimes. He's a criminal. Ed Buck is a goddamn criminal. And the reason he kept getting away is because of his position and, because of, being palm color. Because this could not have happened if it was a black person doing this shit. But this says more about Christopher Darden than anything. But like I said, I've always side-eyed him for a while, but this one right here definitely takes the cake. Like, when he took that case up to want to be the attorney for the guy who killed Nipsey Hussle, the first thing many of us was asking, like, Christopher Darden, we haven't heard that name in years. We haven't seen his face in years. Where did he go? Where he's been in hiding? Did he fall off the face of the planet and then he pops up and this is the case he decides to take? But then it falls through because he knew he couldn't win. See, he's still hung up on that L that he took back in 1995 against Johnny Cochran and the Dream Team. He's still hung up on that. So he's trying to take on cases that he know he can win to try to get that salty taste out of his mouth. But even if he took 100 wins, that one L, that one loss that he had against Johnny Cochran and OJ's team would never, ever leave his mind. It will always be cemented in his cranium for the rest of his days. That's how it is with a lot of people. Psychologically, it's playing on his mental, and he can't help it. This eats him up. So he's going out to see if he can get a win. That's, like I said, that is exactly why, in my opinion, I believe he did not take on that case any further with the guy who killed Nipsey Hussle. Because he knew he wasn't going to win. And not only that, the backlash. People went in, and rightfully so, on Christopher Darden. Like, how dare you, as a black man, take up a case for the murder of another black man by another black man? And then Christopher Darden has a sketchy history when it comes to the black community. Like, nobody really cares for him whatsoever at all. Like, if he was to just disappear, we wouldn't care. I mean, they'll probably put it in the news for a day and we'll look at it and it's like, oh, okay, it is what it is. But yeah, he lacks all types of integrity. It's not even laughable. He is a joke. Court, speaking of, he is the court jester. Y'all let me know what you think and I'll talk to you in the next one.